At that time, the disciples approached Jesus and said, "Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?" He called a child over, placed it in their midst, and said, Amen, I say to you, unless you turn and become like children, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven. Whoever humbles himself like this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And whoever receives one child such as this in my name receives me. And this is a passage I hold to a lot because I have, well, I have kind of a history of really delving in scriptures, and I used to do a lot of like the word studies and like really get into things and digging out all these meanings. And a few years ago, I was just with some people that really were, I guess, a lot more just childlike in general, especially when it comes to like understanding scriptures and what we read and that kind of thing. And it really humbled me in a lot of ways because I realized what being childlike is is pretty simplistic compared to what I was doing. Really try because and then that kind of became a rule for me with a lot of things. First of all, that I don't have to understand everything. Children don't understand half of what they're told to do or what they're supposed to do. They just kind of learn at some point to obey and they trust. They trust that, you know, my parents, my teachers, whatever, they're trying to keep me safe. Okay, I follow the rules. Don't always like it, but that's childlike faith. And that if something has to be, understood in the original Greek or whatever it is, like whatever thing that I have to delve in and study and do, I go, you know what, this doesn't feel like childlike faith to me. Because if I need to understand all of these things to be able to have that faith, that is faith in my understanding in a way, rather than just trusting and going, I trust you, Lord. I guess I don't understand this. I don't understand it, but I believe whatever it is you're telling me here, and I pray you'll just show me when the time is right. And I don't know, it just is something that became a measure for me. Whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me to sin, it would be better for him to have a great millstone hung around his neck and to be drowned in the depths of the sea. Woe to the world because of the things that cause sin. Such thing must come, but woe to the one through whom they come. This is one that I've thought of a lot with, well, I guess just a lot of ethical considerations about like workplaces and that kind of thing. Because there's a lot of things that we are very comfortable with in our society that definitely cause sin and lead people astray. And that's a difficult, because honestly, like I'm in California. And so some things like one of the jobs that I was in that was in a very, well, the environment of that place was bad. And a lot of people were trying to leave and get out. And I knew some people who left and were um, going and they got a job doing the like delivering marijuana to people, like because it's legal here. They have these services, whatever, where people can order it from home and yada yada yada. Which that to me, I am ethically opposed to because of just some of the ethics there as far as the um, because not just because well, there's a lot of deeper reasons. It's not the basic standard, like just because it's bad. It's just because it's like getting changed. It's not the way it used to. It's super like doctored up. There's like stuff that's in it that's not what we are familiar with. Like, for example, there was a kid at a high school that like was smoking marijuana and chose to jump off of like the second level. I'm like, that's not the kind of thing that normal marijuana does. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, I'm totally rambling on the wrong thing. But it made me question, like, well, that would be difficult when you need work, and that is a super high paying position, and from what we were doing at the time, and that person, it was not an ethical issue for them. That was a lifestyle they were comfortable with, um, but for me, well, and that's the other issue I have with it is, um, I don't want to be in a position like, because technically it's legal for certain people, but like then that puts you in an ethical position of being like, is this person I'm selling to actually meet legal requirements? How do I know that? Like, if you get like in positions where people where you're kind of suspecting it's a false ID, whatever, like that's too many like that's too much pressure for me ethically to make those decisions, right? And I have a history with long ago, like before it was all this, before it was legal, before all that, like I had marijuana and in like as a daily thing that I kind of depended upon for a while. Um, I guess in my early 20s maybe. But and it was just something that I don't want to be a part of that hang up for anybody, because it was a hang up for me. And but then it made me look at what I was doing as a job, working for a very ginormous um, coffee place, a cafe, where we sell things that were primarily sugar and caffeine and extremely overpriced, in my opinion. Where and people would come in, and we have regulars that are like super, super, super regulars. They're every day spending like $10 on a drink that is, sugar and caffeine. And it made me just kind of like, well, I don't know if this is really all that great either, you know? And it just makes me look, and definitely like if I were working in things like anywhere in like movie and TV production, I feel like that would be an ethical issue every day to be like, am I in any way causing or supporting someone who's causing people to sin, that is drawing them in, that is tempting people to their own destruction, And this seems like pretty stern words for that, But and this here, if your hand or foot cause you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to enter into life maimed or crippled than with 2 hands or 2 feet to be thrown into eternal fire. And if your eye causes you to sin, tear it out and throw it away. It is better for you to enter into life with one eye with than with 2 eyes to be thrown into fiery Gehenna. And this one for me is a big deal too. Like the rest of this, also I put bright lines here, because there's a book that was about one specific kind of issue. That's how they phrase it. I was thinking of it before I read that book as lines in the sand. For me, I need to draw lines on, okay, if I recognize, like one of the things I recognized for me was watching anything rated mature, because I'm always like, well, I'll turn it off if it gets offensive, or I'll do it. But sometimes I would get pulled in and I would watch things, and I got more comfortable with it, and I was able to like filter out in my imagination. I'm filtering out some of the things that are inappropriate, but I don't think that works that way. I think it sinks in a little bit more than we want it to, even if we're trying to act like it doesn't, because I mean, otherwise, why would there be thousands and thousands, well, not thousands, that's like small game, like billions of dollars poured into advertising, because everybody thinks we filter that out. Like, but if they're putting that much money in it, I don't think we're filtering it out as well as we think we do. Um, so I just decided that is a bright line. That is a line in the sand I don't cross. I'm not watching anything rated mature. And that's because I know that I need those. That is like a cutting off, and it's a very small way, right? But cutting off something that I know that this can cause me to sin. This can cause me to think things or put my mind in the wrong place. And so I'm just not going to go there. And I think it's an important premise, because it's not kind to myself to put myself in the position of like, well, we're just going to kind of keep this open and maybe we'll do it and we'll do it. Then every day, if I'm not at my peak, I'm probably going to make the wrong decision. So I'd have to be in peak form to be able to be like, okay, no, right. I've been watching it for this long and now it's time to turn it off because that happened, you know, but on a weaker day, I might not be able to do that. And so it's like, so it's just better to not even go there. And then I don't have to make that decision all the time. Oh, well, I'm around those people and I do bad things or I make wrong decisions, then I probably should just not hang around with those people, And just like putting it like before I'm tempted, before. Like if I know this path is going to cause me temptation, then I need to just not even start on that path and just keep walking, you know? I don't know. But that's what this makes me think of, and that's why I wrote bright lines there.